It is therefore my finding that the prosecution has proved its case against the first, the second, and the third accused persons beyond any reasonable doubt. I consequently find each accused person guilty of the offense of murder.
After nearly 8 years of investigations, court drama, witness testimony, and public attention, one of Kenya's most closely watched murder trials has finally reached a major turning point. Former Migori Governor Okoth Obado has now been found guilty of the murder of university student Sharon Otieno. But today's conviction is not the end of the story. Many Kenyans are now asking three important questions. How did the judge arrive at this decision? What happens next in court? And could Obado still avoid spending the rest of his life behind bars? In this video, I'll explain everything you need to know. To understand today's judgment, we have to go back to 2018. Sharon Otieno was a young university student whose death shocked the entire country. Investigations later revealed that she had been in a relationship with then Migori Governor Okoth Obado and was carrying a pregnancy linked to him. The story quickly became national news. On the night of September 3rd and 4th, Sharon disappeared together with Nation Media Group journalist Barack Odwor after leaving a hotel in Rongo. While Barack Odwor managed to escape by jumping from the moving vehicle, Sharon never made it home. A day later, her body was discovered near Kodera Forest in Homa Bay County. A postmortem later revealed she had died after being strangled and stabbed multiple times. The country demanded justice. Police investigations eventually led to the arrest of former Governor Okoth Obado, his former personal assistant Michael Oyamo, and County Clerk Caspar Lobiero. During the trial, prosecutors called more than 40 witnesses. The court heard evidence from investigators, forensic experts, pathologists, and other witnesses, mobile phone records, witness testimony, forensic evidence, and movements of the accused persons before and after Sharon's death were all presented before the court. And like many murder cases where one witness directly sees the killing happen, this case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence, and that became one of the biggest issues before the court. At this point, many people began asking one question. If nobody actually saw Obado kill Sharon, how was he still found guilty of murder? That brings us to today's judgment. Why the judge convicted Obado? While delivering judgment, Justice Cecilia Githua said the prosecution had proved its case beyond reasonable doubt. The judge ruled that although Obado was not physically present when Sharon was killed, the evidence presented showed he played a crucial role in planning and facilitating the crime. According to the court, Obado supplied the motive. He provided the funds used to execute the murder, and he participated in planning the offense. The second accused was found to have facilitated the execution of the murder. The third accused was found to have helped conceal the crime afterwards. Justice Githua said when all the evidence was looked at together, it formed what lawyers call a complete chain of circumstantial evidence. In other words, the judge concluded that there was no reasonable explanation other than that the three accused acted together. That is why all three were convicted of murder. But does today's guilty verdict mean Okoth Obado is going to prison immediately? The answer is not yet. And this is where many Kenyans often get confused. Although the High Court has found Obado guilty of murder, today's decision is only one stage of the legal process. The next step is known as mitigation. This is where the convicted persons are given an opportunity to address the court before sentencing. Their lawyers may ask the judge to consider factors such as age, health, family circumstances, or any other reasons they believe deserve a light sentence. The prosecution can also respond and ask the court to impose an appropriate punishment based on the seriousness of the offense. Only after hearing both sides will the judge deliver the sentence. That is why Justice Cecilia Githua ordered that Obado and his co-accused remain in custody as they await sentencing. But another important question many Kenyans are asking is, can Obado still appeal today's conviction? The answer is yes. Can Obado still walk free? Under Kenya's constitution, every person convicted of a criminal offense has the right to appeal. That means Obado's legal team can challenge both today's conviction and the sentence that will eventually be imposed. The Court of Appeal could uphold the conviction, reduce the sentence, order a retrial, or in rare cases, overturn the conviction completely if it finds that the trial court made significant legal errors. So, while today's judgment is historic, the legal journey is far from over. But perhaps the biggest question of all is, why has this case remained one of the most talked about murder trials in Kenya even after nearly 8 years? This case was never just about one murder. It touched on some of the biggest issues in Kenya: question of power, influence, justice, the safety of women, political accountability, and whether senior public officials can be held responsible through the courts. For nearly 8 years, Kenyans followed every hearing, every witness, and every ruling. Today's conviction sends a powerful message that even complex murder cases relying largely on circumstantial evidence can still result in a conviction if the prosecution proves its case beyond reasonable doubt. Whether today's judgment will survive an appeal remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: this case has already become one of the most significant criminal trials in Kenya's recent history. The next major chapter will now be sentencing. Will the court impose life imprisonment? Will the defense convince the judge to reduce the punishment? Or will the case move to the Court of Appeal? We'll continue following every development here on Benchumba Digital. Now I'd like to hear from you. Do you agree with the guilty verdict? Do you think justice has finally been served? Or do you believe the appeal process could change everything? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this explainer helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Benchumba Digital for more in-depth coverage of Kenya's biggest stories.